There comes a time in every life where the mirror becomes a battlefield. Not the kind with bombs or bullets, but the kind where truth shows up uninvited and asks you, are you proud of who you've become? That's not an easy question. Not when you've spent years doing just enough. Not when comfort has been your closest friend. Not when the habits you've built don't serve the dreams you keep wishing for. You see, motivation is a spark. It flares up when you watch someone else succeed. When you hear a good speech. When the pain gets loud enough for a moment. But that spark? It's not enough to light your future. Not if the woodpile is empty. Not if you haven't done the hard work of preparation. Discipline. Discipline is the woodpile. It's the daily stacking of effort. Quiet, boring, often thankless. But unshakable. Because when the storm comes, the undisciplined beg for shelter. And the disciplined build fire with their own hands. You think you need motivation? You don't. What you need is command over yourself. The greatest mistake people make is waiting to feel like it. As if greatness is a feeling. As if transformation comes wrapped in excitement. It doesn't. It comes dressed as a 5 a.m. alarm clock. It comes when your legs are sore and your mind says, take the day off. And you answer back, I said we're doing this. It shows up when no one claps, and you still give it everything. Not because it feels good, but because you've made a decision. Not a wish. Not a hope. A decision. People spend years asking the wrong question. How do I stay motivated? The right question is, who am I when motivation is gone? That's where the work begins. That's where the real version of you either rises or disappears into a cloud of excuses. You want success? Good. But let's define it the way reality does. Success is not something you chase. It's something you deserve. And what you deserve is directly tied to your standards. Low standards, low life. Average standards, average life. High standards? They demand sacrifice. They require a new identity. Not just someone who wants more. Someone who becomes more. Because life will give you what you fight for. Not what you daydream about. You don't get stronger by watching someone else lift. You don't grow wealth by talking about abundance. And you don't develop discipline by reading quotes about it. Discipline is earned. Earned in the trenches of your own resistance. Every time you override the easy choice. Every time you follow through when no one's watching. Every time you keep the promise you made to yourself. You're laying a brick in the foundation of a life that can't be shaken. But here's the truth they don't teach in school. No one's coming to enforce your standards. There's no referee in the game of self-respect. If you slack, no whistle gets blown. If you procrastinate, no sirens go off. The world simply lets you lose. Quietly. Softly. In the slow decay of your potential. And it will hurt. But not all at once. No, life punishes neglect with whispers first. You'll hear them in the silence of your regret. In the ache of knowing you had more to give. And you didn't give it. That's why personal responsibility is not a punishment. It's your superpower. The moment you stop blaming. Stop waiting. Stop outsourcing your life to chance. You step into full control. No one's going to make you journal. No one's going to force you to read. No one's going to drag you to the gym. But if you choose it, if you build it, you will become someone who doesn't need reminders. Someone who doesn't wait to be told. Someone who doesn't flinch in the face of hard things. Discipline is not rigidity, it's strength. It doesn't imprison you, it frees you. Frees you from the chaos of emotional ups and downs. Frees you from the trap of I don't feel like it. Frees you from living like a leaf, blown around by circumstance. Because let's face it, the person you become is not determined by what you do once. It's built by what you repeat when it's hard. When you're tired. When the world is busy sleeping in. when your friends don't understand, when it's easier to coast. That's when you write the story. And most won't do it. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes you powerful. You see, we live in a world addicted to the quick win. Shortcut culture. Everyone's looking for the hack, the cheat code, the 5 steps to instant success. But what they forget is this. Anything that comes fast, leaves faster. Anything you didn't earn, owns you. That's why the long road is the only road. The hard path is the path. Not because struggle is romantic, but because it's the only thing that forges character deep enough to carry success. Because success without character is a fire without foundation. It burns hot. It burns fast. And then it burns out. You've seen it. The man who gains wealth but loses his soul. The athlete with talent but no discipline. The entrepreneur who chases status but forgets integrity. They rise like rockets and crash just as hard. Why? Because they never built the roots. And roots don't come from hype. They come from hardship. From showing up when no one notices. From building a philosophy of life that doesn't shift with trends or opinions. That's the part people ignore. Your personal philosophy. The way you see the world. The principles you live by. They are either leading you toward freedom or keeping you in quiet captivity. Do you believe the world owes you something? Do you believe effort only matters when it's easy? Do you believe discipline is optional? Then life will humble you. And it won't be gentle. But if you believe that pain has purpose, if you believe that effort compounds, if you believe that who you become is more valuable than what you get, then life becomes your ally. Your results may not show up today or tomorrow, but they will show up because you've planted the right seeds. You don't plant in the spring and harvest in the same hour. You don't train one day and expect to be elite. That's not how nature works. That's not how greatness works. There is a law to growth. Sow water. Wait. Harvest. Sow water. Wait. Harvest. But most people give up in the wait. They dig up the seed after a week and say, "See? It didn't work." Not realizing that discipline is the faith to keep going before the reward shows up. And you must keep going. Because the discipline you build today will become the confidence you carry tomorrow. You'll start to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You stopped chasing feeling and started chasing freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes when you no longer need external permission to do what must be done. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It's the presence of self-governance. It's waking up and knowing, deep in your bones, that you can trust you. Because you've trained yourself, disciplined yourself, tested yourself. You didn't just talk about the work. You did the work. When no one clapped. When no one validated you. When no one saw the hours. That's when you became real. That's when you crossed the invisible line between potential and power. See, people think motivation is the key. But motivation is a guest, it visits. Discipline is the resident. It moves in. It builds a home in your spirit. And once it lives there, you become unshakable. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop explaining your dreams to people who don't get it. You stop needing applause to act. Because now, you know. You know what you're made of. You know what your time is worth. You know that every day you choose action over apathy. You're moving closer to becoming someone the old you wouldn't even recognize. But hear this clearly. You will be tested. Life will check if you mean it. You will be tempted to take shortcuts, to lower your standards, to settle for good enough. That's when you dig in. That's when you remind yourself, I didn't come this far to stay the same. I don't do easy, I do what's required. And if you stay with that, if you hold the line, you will reach a point where discipline isn't effort anymore. It's identity. It's just who you are. Not because it was easy, but because you fought for it, earned it, and bled for it mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the man or woman who changes the world. Not the one who talks loud. Not the one who looks the part. But the one who became the part when no one was looking. They walked into the fire and came out forged. Not by chance. Not by luck. By choice. By discipline. By building a standard that didn't bend when life got loud. And when that standard is built, you don't rise and fall with your emotions anymore. You don't need the stars to align. You align yourself. You don't need the environment to change. You become the change. Because now, you are the storm. You are the force. You are the one that doesn't flinch. You don't avoid the hard days. You hunt them. You don't pray for an easier road. You sharpen your tools and say, let's go. Because when discipline lives inside you, comfort becomes irrelevant. And here's the twist. The day you stop needing motivation is the day you become more motivated than ever. Not because you're chasing something, but because you're living in alignment with who you know you're supposed to be. There's no friction in that. There's no debate. Just action. Just movement. Just a clear sense that this is my life. And I refuse to waste it. Most people don't fail because they don't have potential. They fail because they never decided to raise their baseline. They keep showing up as the same version of themselves, hoping for a new result. But you're not here for hope. You're here for work. You're here for transformation. You're here to tear down the lies you've lived under for too long and replace them with truth. And the truth is this. Discipline is not your enemy. It's your edge. It's your leverage in a world addicted to distraction. It's your path to peace in a world chasing pleasure. It's your power in a world that glorifies weakness and vilifies strength. You want peace? Earn it. Not by hiding from life, but by confronting it head on. Because when you become the kind of person who keeps going no matter what, you stop fearing life. And life starts respecting you back. Not with easy wins, but with earned victories. With quiet confidence. With nights where you can finally lay your head down and know, I did what needed to be done. I honored my word. I became the man. I became the woman. Not because someone pushed you, but because you decided you were done waiting. Done waiting for motivation. Done waiting for approval. Done waiting for the right time. The right time is now. And discipline is the bridge. Build it. Step onto it. And don't look back. Because your future doesn't belong to the person you hope to become. It belongs to the one you decide to become. Today. Right now. Without flinching. Let the world wait. You've got work to do.